Hello and welcome back everyone, we're of course back, and as you can see, I have a griffin in my face. Anyway, this is, once again as you can see, Hypixel Skyblock, which I know I've never been here, but I wanted to make a true beginner's guide to this game. Like, for example, I've seen a lot of beginner's guides where people will be, you know, having played for like 10,000 hours, and they'll make really good guides. But they're also really confusing to new players. At least when I started. In my experience. Because I would consider myself, you know, early-ish mid-game, considering the armor and weapon and all that. So I mean, I know a thing or two about getting out of the early game because I just did it. So, if any of you are interested in an easy, you know, slow-paced game of Skyblock, this is the guide for you. That's enough explaining. So, I have decided that I'm going to be splitting these videos into parts, like for example, how to use minions, how to level yourself up, how to use the bazaar, all this. Anyways, so this first one will be how to level up. The main ways, you know, the main methods that you're going to want to do. Now, I will talk about some later early game strategies, but for the most part I'm going to do general early game strategies. Anyway, the first thing you're going to want to do, say you just spawned in on your island, you came over here, you spawned in, right here, inside this whole group of people. You're going to want to run over here, you know, just book it over, as fast as you can. And you're going to want to just grab as much wheat as possible. You're going to want to just keep on doing this, because this is your best way of farming. Because look at that. 4.8 farming XP. That's not much when you get into the later game, but that is a ton when you first start. That is like a seriously stupid amount. Anyway, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run over here. You know, just, there's a lot of running in the early game. You're going to want to go to the farming islands. Great place over here. Make sure you're talking to the NPCs over there too. They will have various missions and quests and all that for you to go on, which should reward you with something over time. Anyway, you're gonna want to continue farming here. They've got carrots, they've got potatoes, they've got melons, you know, they've got all the animals. This is a great place to go when you're early game. Anyway, you're gonna continue on farming. You're gonna get to whatever level it needs for you to go over to the desert settlement. Now you may be wondering, why do you need the desert settlement to start? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm about to show you. Okay, so now that we're here, you're gonna want to go to any of this sand, or any of this sand past the fence at the very least. I don't know, and I don't really care enough to try over there because it's kind of cramped. And you're gonna want to go and get any shovel that can insta-mine sand. And that's honestly really easy. There's an NPC over by the mining area, which I will show in just a moment, or where you can get a bit of gold and some sticks and all that. And basically, if you get a gold shovel with efficiency 2, that'll still handle it. Anyway, so to level mining, all you want to do is this. Because every block you break, which will happen really fast, is 3.6 mining XP, which really, you know, adds up over time. Anyway, the next thing you're going to want to do, once you're sufficed with your mining XP level, you're going to want to just run back over. If you can get a grappling hook like this, definitely do so. But I doubt you're going to be doing that in the beginning. And I'm going to see you back at the beginning. And we're back to this area. Now this area is, of course, the hub. This is where you're going to want to go to do basically anything. Now, first things first, this NPC over here, this here is the man you want to go to for that gold. Now it's very cheap. You can sell all your wheat and your seeds and you'll have more than enough for this. And then you want to just get some sticks and come on over here and just enchant it with efficiency 2. This will have all the enchants that you can do, and that's all you really need. Anyway, you are also going to want to go over here if you want some actual, you know, mining to do. This place only really has coal and stone, but as you progress further, you'll get gold and iron, and then diamond, redstone, emerald, lapis, all the good stuff. Anyway, you are going to want to go from here after you get that gold shovel and after you do all the mining and, you know, all that fun stuff. You can go over here to this lumber merchant, and I definitely suggest buying the promising axe. This thing will do you well in the beginning, or if you really like saving up, you can also save up to get a jungle axe from the auction house, but those can be a bit expensive for early game. And you are just gonna want to run over here as fast as you can. You know, it might be a bit slower than this, but as fast as you can. And you're just gonna want to start breaking these logs. It doesn't really matter how much you do, just go until it feels right, you know. I suggest for each of these skills going until you're about level 7. For the last 3 I showed at least. The next couple aren't too important. But yeah, so go until you're level 7 and you're gonna be solid for now. You can always, you know, get more later, but level 7 is crucial for another thing that I will be doing in probably the next video, which will be Bazaar, or how to use the Bazaar. Anyway, you're gonna want to go back over here, there's a lot of running once again. And you're gonna just run right on past the Bazaar, right on past the auction house, and you're gonna go back over here. There's a lot of back and forth. I mean, I should have said you could do this to start with, but you're gonna talk to the weaponsmith. Now, to start with, you should absolutely be getting the undead sword, because all enemies you're going to be fighting early in the game are undead, so this will be doing tons more damage to them, and it's also stupidly cheap. Now, if you're more of a bowman, I suggest, or woman, or anything really, definitely go for the artisanal short bow. Now, the regular and the wither are definitely cool, but you're not going to be fighting withers in the early game. This thing will also instantly shoot, and it does pretty solid damage. So yeah, definitely suggest that. Anyway, to level your enchanting, to start with, you can just go with, you know, enchanting things. It does it pretty well. Or, I'm gonna go back to my, my island right now. If you go, you know, I believe to level 10 of enchanting, then you can go on over and you can craft one of these, a experimentation table. Now, this thing, I can't show it right now because I'm on a cooldown, but you can basically do a matching game every day. It will cost 25 levels of XP, so it's a bit steep, but it is definitely worth it because even if you don't do too well, you'll still get about, like, almost 100k of enchanting XP, which early game, or at least when you'll be first getting this, is absolutely insane. Now, the next place we're gonna want to go is none of these places. Don't mind the fact that I'm flying, that is just an effect of this wonderful thing here, the booster cookie, which I'm not gonna make a whole video about, but I absolutely suggest that you get one from this shop here, or not really shop, but you can basically just get a free one the first time you get one, but after that they cost real money, so definitely take advantage of that free one. You can either sell it for anywhere from like 1 to 4 million coins, which is insane in the early game, or you can use it for stupidly good buffs, like for example, it basically lets you get these things called bits, which can be used for some amazing items. Then, for leveling combat XP early in the game, you can go on over here once again, now that you have that undead sword of yours, and you're going to want to go into this little fenced off area, and you're just going to want to start going ham on these zombies, or chicken in my case. You're just going to want to slaughter them like they're like Anakin with the younglings. It's just that simple. Now it may take, you know, 2 or 3 shots for you to kill him. I believe only 2 with the undead sword, even if it's unenchanted. But, yeah, it's that simple. You'll get a bit of combat XP. It's nothing great. It's going to take a long time to level up, but it will definitely build up over time. And then you don't want to go down here until you're farther along, because the enemies down here are strong, but they're really good for combat XP. Now, another method for leveling up your combat XP is to go into your combat level area, go to the bestiary, and you basically want to get this to level 10. Now, I don't know for 100% sure, but over time, the bestiary will give you stupid amounts of XP for your combat. Now, you can unlock this, basically, by killing mobs of each kind. So, for example, if you're on your island and zombies spawn, or if you're over here and zombies spawn, you kill them and, well, once you've killed enough, they'll add 1 or up to 5 things, or maybe even more depending on the mob. In my case, I think the zombies stop at 5. There's also witches, spiders, there's so many different mobs throughout this, and so many different areas that you could go, so collecting these mobs is really not too hard. It just will take a lot of time, because you gotta kill them, like, a ton of times to be able to actually get anywhere with it. But it is basically that simple. With combat XP, it's a time-taking thing. It's very, very grindy, just like anything else in this game. But it is definitely worth it because it ups your damage and your crit chance, which is very helpful. Anyway, let's see. I don't think there's any other very needed skills. For example, as you can see, I'm not very far along in fishing. And I don't even really care to get far along in it, because it is a very grindy one. Like, take any of the other ones, add them all together, and it's that. At least in my opinion. Alchemy, I also haven't really done, but to my knowledge, it's as simple as just brew potions to earn alchemy XP, as it says. Now, you can, from what I've seen, make a auto brewer, and it will still count that XP, which is amazing, but I have not done it yet. And maybe I'll make an updated version of this when I do figure out all of this a bit more, but these are just the main skills for now. Now, rune crafting, carpentry, social, those aren't really useful. Rune crafting especially. I mean, all of them are, you know, good to do, but they're not going to be too helpful. The combat, mining, farming, foraging, enchanting, those are your big 5. Those are what you really need. Those are all the main methods I can think of for, you know, quickly leveling up XP to start with. One more thing, though. Now, this one, it's kind of easy to forget, but it is definitely a solid method. Sorry about that loading screen. But when you go to your island, you know, you'll have minions, of course. You'll start with a cobble minion right here. And over time, you know, you'll make more. And soon I will be doing a video on these minions and like how they work and all that. But say I was to collect, that was not supposed to happen. Okay, now I'm back. Yeah, that is the dangerous thing about this sword, since it teleports you. But basically, if you collect the, you know, the stuff that this minion has collected over time, you will get the equivalent mining XP for that, which definitely will add up over time as well. Like, for example, I think I just gained, like, almost 2,000 mining XP just from that. Now, the same goes for these farming ones. These things will give a bunch of farming XP. And the same goes for this wood one with the foraging. And there's probably, you know, the combat ones for combat XP and all that. Also, take no note of how bad my island is. I have not really focused on it. But anyway, that is basically it. If I think of any more, or probably near the end of this series, I might do an updated version. Because, as I said, I am very early out of the early game myself, and I haven't quite figured out all the best methods yet. But those are just some methods I've used to get from, you know, having nothing to doing alright in this so far. I mean, I haven't been playing too long, but I've figured out a bit. Anyway, next time, as I said, will be the bazaar flipping methods and all that. And that's about it. Thank you all very much for watching. Definitely make sure to check out my various social medias and my Discord server in... Okay, I know that. And my Discord server that I will be leaving a link to in the description. Definitely make sure to leave a like on the video if it helped you at all. I know it was pretty fast, but leveling can be confusing in the beginning. I know it took me a long time to figure out some of those methods. Or specifically the shovel with the sand one. Even after hearing about it, I didn't quite figure it out. Anyway, once again, or as I was saying, make sure to leave a comment on, you know, how it helped you, or any other methods that could help, or other things I should do tutorials on in Skyblock. And last but not least, definitely make sure to subscribe and and hit the notification bell to show support and see where this series and my 1.19 survival go over time. Till next time, everyone, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.